welcome to Combat Squad Fight Sports Podcast. I'm Coach Al, and this is
Coach Dev.
We're here to break down UFC 300. I'm gonna let Coach Dev take the lead on this one because he's a little bit more familiar with a lot of these guys than I am. We're just gonna break it down, give our predictions for the fight, and who we think is gonna win coming up. Ready, Coach Dev?
Thank you for that beautiful intro. I guess we're starting at the bottom. For guys who are just listening to the audio of this, you can just, double check all of the stats, heights, all that stuff by just going to UFC300.com. And always remember, turn knowledge into dollars. We got links below. Click on them. Get bonuses. Lots of stuff. It's free money. How could you not want it?
Get my link.
You know what I mean? What's our first fight?
So we got Davison Figueroa.
Davison Figueroa.
I keep always mess up his name. Versus Cody Garbrandt. I know who Cody is, and
you've seen Figgy fight. You've seen him fight Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
We watched 2 of their fights. I know I watched those with you.
Yeah.
Can you click on where it says versus? Because I believe that'll bring up all of their tangibles. Thank you. Figgy versus Cody Garbrandt. We don't know if this is a last hurrah for Cody. Obviously, Cody was the previous bantamweight champion. He's the one who dethroned Dominic Cruz. And ever since them and his wars with TJ Dillashaw never really captured the same kind of, never captured the same spark that he had on his come up. When it comes to 125, there aren't many fighters as scary as Figgy, though. I do like that Cody is 5'8". The problem is that Cody fights very tight with his boxing. And I don't think his wrestling will be good enough to keep Figgy down. Also, I believe that the speed is going to be an issue. We saw that with Kai Kara-France when he first moved to 125 and got knocked out. And if you think Kai Kara-France is hard, Figgy is dead and everything at 125. Especially with this being a 3-round fight where I don't see Figgy really stalling out or, getting tired. I kind of got to go Davison Figueroa by TKO. If you want to do it by round, I would assume before the second round. But I just don't see where Cody really is going to have much of a chance. I mean, he can punch, definitely, but so can Figgy. And Figgy is used to faster guys. So being in the pocket, exchanging with him, he's going to get there a little bit quicker. I think Figgy actually is going to have more of a wrestling threat than Cody. And though Cody is 5'8", to Figgy's 5'5", Figgy has a reach advantage. So, yeah, Figgy by TKO within 2.5 rounds.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. Even though Cody's coming off a win, he's always seemed like he's someone who's like you say, he's never really been able to recapture that lightning in the bottle during his climb. Especially after those TJ wars. I haven't had a lot of confidence in him ever since I saw him get hit with the same punch like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Even though I don't know him well, I'm probably going to give it... Actually, I do. I saw Figueroa fight. He is dangerous. He's a dangerous dude.
Yeah.
I'll give
very
it to
similar
him too.
To Scotty in our camp. Very similar. I'm not saying Scotty's at that level yet, but in terms of like the attributes, very similar.
I will say that Cody surprised me with his last W, though. I didn't think he was going to win that fight either. So,
I can't even remember who his last fight was against, to be honest. I'm bringing it up now. Oh, against Brian Kelleher. That's right. He slept Brian Kelleher. Brian Kelleher, solid competition.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's a gatekeeper. Figgy's an ex-champion.
Yeah.
So, and not like kind of an ex-champion, like he was just champ.
Right.
So, and he's still very, very dangerous. And Figgy's coming off a good win with Rob Font, a 35er as well. So, oh wait, is Figgy going up for this fight? Is he?
It's at
I'm not
35.
sure. Wait, this is listed as a bantamweight bout.
Yeah.
Oh, that changes a lot. Cody's at 135. He's not going to 125. Honestly, it doesn't change a lot. Figgy's still sleeping him 2.5. Next fight. See, I got you.
Bobby Green versus Jim Miller.
Bobby,
Lightweight
Mr. Just slang them things, Bobby Green and Jim Miller. Just a battle of the vets that refuse to retire. They give out crowd entertaining fights. Jim Miller is Hall of Famer. Bobby Green, not a Hall of Famer, but always a fan favorite. I guess that's what we call him, a fan favorite. Outside of the 2-inch height advantage for Bobby Green, everything else in leg reach and wingspan is identical. When it comes to vets like this, to be honest, it's hard to call. I mean, Bobby could defend every takedown from Jim Miller and box him up for 3 rounds and possibly catch him. Jim Miller can throw a head kick and drop Bobby and lock in a guillotine. You never know. I would edge it to Jim Miller just because he has more ways to win than Bobby Green. And I don't think Bobby Green's chin is as safe as he would like it to be. He's been stopped a couple times, and a few of those he was straight up knocked out. So Jim Miller can punch, he can wrestle, he's got good cardio, great submission game. It's with Bobby Green, sometimes I wonder how much of a game plan he has coming into a fight. It pretty much seems like he's of the old school sprawl and brawl mindset. But his skill set isn't fully suited to do that. I think if he was with a coach like Eric Nixon, the guy who's Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland's coach over at Extreme Couture, I think he's very good with coaching up guys who have more of that old school mentality of sprawl and brawl and learning how to apply pressure with and without punches and starting to cut off the ring and especially fighting in the pocket. But oh man, I hate to go against Bobby because he's fan favorite, but I gotta go Jim Miller. I think Jim Miller stops Bobby Green in 3.
In 3.
Sorry, Bobby.
Sorry, Bobby. This fight, this is early prelim price is a 3-rounder.
Yeah, it's a 3-rounder. It's a 3-rounder. And you're like, again, I do like Bobby does have good takedown defense if people are watching and seeing the stats that Coach Al is bringing up. He has a 70 plus takedown defense, which is, that's the most impactful stat in fighting is their ability to stop takedowns. And 74 plus puts him in that like top 83 percentile. And you really want that. Like, that's really, really good. Jim Miller can take guys down, but it's not like he's not like a Gray Maynard out here. He's not like a Armin Sarukian. He's not like a Islam Makhachev. He's more like Jim Miller. But I still think Jim Miller can get it done. And they're both older guys just looking to slang and bang. So, yeah.
It's just about Bobby Green just because that takedown defense, but I think he might get something off of there.
Okay.
Also, just a fan favorite. I actually don't have a strong opinion about either guy. I don't have a strong, but I'm just going to edge it to Bobby Green.
Okay.
Just a significant strike. I don't know. Actually, this is like, besides the takedown defense, this is a pretty much even fight. Like on paper wise.
On paper, but when we start looking at the skill sets, Bobby
Right.
is just a sprawling boxer, and Jim can kind of do it all. I'm not saying being able to do it all is going to stop someone that can dominate you in one area. I mean, clearly, Izzy made a career out of it. Alex Pereira's making a career out of it, just as well as people like Khabib and stuff make a career out of it. Being a hyper specialist, I just don't think Bobby's that much of a specialist.
Right.
You
Let's see
feel
what's
me?
the
Like, I think he
odds.
has decent boxing for MMA, but
All
I
right.
wouldn't even put him as like my top 5 MMA boxers. Like,
Well,
so
the like you said, Bobby is a fan favorite, so the public is leaning towards him.
public is leaning towards Bobby.
But I think he's like you said, fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Public is not always right. So Jessica Andrade, I can't believe this is an early prelim. This card is stacked. Having Jessica Andrade on
Early prelims, a former world
early
champion,
prelim
but that
is
was the whole thing. We got a bunch of former world champions and title challengers, and I mean
yeah.
Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Jessica Andrade, kind of the same thing. She got to the belt, but then after Zhang Wei Li laid that elbow and right hand on her, she really hasn't returned back to form the same way. A
Ooh,
couple of
excuse me.
spots here and there we've seen her,
She's
but I think she's been stopped. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like how the last 5 losses, she's been stopped 4 times. If you could bring that up, um, I'm not,
where would I
I'm
bring that
not,
up at?
I'm not sure if she's going to be able to continuously take that punishment. I mean, one, as we know, she went up to 25, used to fight at 35, was severely undersized. She's coming off a win of Mackenzie Dern, but as we're looking at her last couple fights, she was submitted by Tatiana Suarez. She was knocked out by Jan. She was submitted by Blanchfield right before that. She was able to, control Murphy and win that fight. And with Lamos, the same thing, take her down and all that. But yes, she was stopped by Shevchenko. So I mean, she's been stopped a couple times. She's pretty much like if people can remember John Lineker back in the day. John Lineker, just or like a Vanderlei Silva. She is also of the old school sprawl and brawl and slam, I don't
Yeah.
think that I've never been impressed with her skill set, and this no disrespect to her, but I just gotta call it how it is. Never been impressed with her skill set. When it comes to Marina Rodriguez, not that she's, completely new on the scene, but may not be an as familiar name to the public. 17-3-2, rare we see guys, anybody with 2 draws and no contest on there. But one thing about her, I'm gonna say this. One thing about her is tenacious. She is tenacious. She is not coming to lose at
Right.
all. She is not coming to lose. One thing I like about her is she can punch, has decent takedown defense herself, 66%. So up in that upper I'm sorry, not in the upper, in the low 60 percentile of takedown defense. I don't know if Andrade is going to press for takedowns as much, but I don't trust Andrade's chin. I don't trust her. I don't trust her chin, especially against somebody that's 5'6". I get that she's always been able to. Every time she fights, she's a shorter fighter, even at 125. Like we
Right.
get it, but I don't like this fight for her. I think Marina Rodriguez has the tool set, not just to beat Andrade, but to put her away. I know I'm calling a lot of finishes, but when people
Right.
can finish other people, that's what I'm expecting. We
Mm.
will be posting our card. I'll be posting one, my safe card, and then I'll post the one that's kind of like I'm giving out now, which is like the way Dev really sees it.
Right.
And I'll also be posting that make you guys y'all money card. So if you want to make sure you get that, please follow us on our Instagram channels. They will be somewhere. They're already in the description. They'll be somewhere. I think we can just put a card up on YouTube or something if you listen to this on Patreon or if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, anything like that. Yeah, just look us up, Combat Squad, on Instagram, and you can find that fairly easily. I don't think there's any other Combat Squads. I think it's us.
Yeah, I think it's just us. Combat with a K, by the way.
Yeah, Combat with a K, just like how the podcast is. But yeah, I do think Marina Rodriguez is going to put it on Andrade. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I see Andrade making it out the second round. I know you're not really familiar with the strawweight girls, but
yeah, I'm familiar with Jessica Andrade. I'm not familiar with Marina Rodriguez. Only thing I can say is it could be like an instance where Vet just like puts it on. But you're right, she is on like a 500 fighter streak. Like she's winning and losing, winning and losing, winning.
Yeah, win one, lose two, win two, lose one. The problem is when she's losing, she's getting stopped.
Yeah. Or submitted, yeah.
I mean, it's still getting stopped. And Marina Rodriguez, don't be surprised if she can submit her. If she clips Andrade and Andrade takes a bad shot, she can wind up getting strangled. You never know. You know? So it's not like Andrade has showed superb submission defense. She's just a little ball, and it's hard to get a grip at anything. But she's also been submitted multiple times. At the end of the day, like I'm not a record hunter. I'm not a person like that. I'm not a person like where your record defines where you are. But if you have 12 losses and over half or more are by stoppage, and they're recent. It's not like they were early in your career. You have, 4 or 5 stoppages in your last couple of losses. I got Marina Rodriguez stopping her within 2 rounds. I can move on to that next fight. Right. I believe it's Jalen Turner and Ricardo Moicano. Jalen Turner, if you're on the Patreon, you saw that I did a whole fighter profile with the scouting report on Jalen Turner, things we like, things we don't like. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. He's a real interesting prospect. Number one thing that jumps up off the board, 155 pounds, 6'3", 77-inch wingspan. Jesus Christ. I couldn't imagine.
Long dude.
I could not imagine having to deal with that. I mean, I think the average lightweight height when I looked it up is like 5'9" or something like that. And this dude's 6'3". Like, Jesus Christ. I don't. All that being said, I like both of these guys. I actually am a fan of Ricardo Moicano too. I think he has a very underrated skill set, but it's also an underutilized skill set. And that's the biggest thing with Renato Moicano. He is willing to fight way too much. He has the skills to put together good game plans and beat a lot of these ranked guys. It just seems like the second he gets touched, he's willing to turn everything into a dogfight when it doesn't need to be that. Jalen Turner, kind of the same thing. There are some conditioning concerns with Jalen Turner going into the third round, especially when he has to grapple. There are some defensive concerns. Again, all of those things are on the Patreon, and the scouting report is there. But if I have to pick someone, I don't believe Renato Moicano is going to be able to take Jalen Turner down. I think Ricardo Moicano, he's going to lose standing up just simply based off the athleticism. It has nothing even to do with skill. Yes, I think Jalen's a better striker than him by a slight edge, not like by a huge edge, by a slight edge. Jalen does a lot of things right, but as a pro, it's about how little you do wrong because you don't want to get caught with, anything crazy. And he does leave himself available, even at 6'3", to get caught with, some wild shots. But at the end of the day, I don't think Moicano's going to be able to do it. I mean, Moicano's not a puncher at all. Jalen Turner is not a guy that's chinny. The only time I seen him get knocked out was against a guy at 170 because he took I think it was a last-minute fight. I believe it was Vicente Luque. Put him out. but that was at 170. And Vicente Luque could punch at 170. Moicano, I believe he doesn't have any knockouts in the UFC at
No, he was
all.
not. Let's bring
So
out the list. Yeah,
yeah, I don't even know if he has knockdowns in the UFC. So him standing up with Turner, just athletically, someone who's bigger than you, who's stronger than you, who can punch, and he's significantly faster. And Renato is too willing to brawl. I see Jalen putting him away with a right hook, something like that. Short right hook, dropping him, getting into his guard, and finishing him. Jalen Turner likes to come out the gate, putting pressure on guys, and Moicano responds to pressure by swinging. So this fight could end in the first round, to be honest. So I think Moicano has one knockdown, period. And Jalen Turner is I think he's averaging a knockdown every fight.
Yeah.
So, and Moicano gets knocked down every other fight. So,
yeah, it's not matchup
I
wise
know
on
that
paper
fights
wise
aren't
not
won
looking
on
good.
paper, but this is a fight on paper where Jalen Turner is. I really think he's gonna, because Moicano isn't a great chain wrestler at all. And if he didn't get finished by Gamrot, who's significantly better than Moicano in terms of his top control and chain wrestling, even though he did have Jalen Turner in bad spots, I just don't think Moicano's going to have it. And Moicano has conditioning concerns as well. I think Jalen's going to start fast. I think this is a huge fight for him on a big platform like UFC 300, he's going to come out fast. Renato Moicano does not respond to guys that jump right on him. And if he starts trying to sit down and fight Jalen Turner off, he's going to get knocked out in the round. That might be my pick, if it's even worth anything. What's the odds on that fight, by the way?
No odds. No odds yet.
Oh, I'm surprised. I'm very, very, very surprised. Even in the odds tab, there are no odds.
Nope. Well, wait, let me go. Odds tab. Got a gamba.
Nope, nothing. Well, I guess that's just is what it is. Sadiq Yufes and Diego Lopez. This is actually one of the fights I'm most excited for. Sadiq Yusuf, I don't know if he fought after Edson Barboza, but he just had a 5-round fight with Edson Barboza. Classic young dude in his first 5-round fight against a vet. Jumps on him early. The vet survives that first wave of punishment and just puts a clinic on. Just goes downstairs to the body. A lot of kicks, a lot of jabs. I mean, Yusuf learned the lesson in that fight. He learned the lesson in that fight. Yusuf is a fire plug. He can punch. Obviously, from how he's built, you can kind of guess conditioning concerns in terms of carrying that muscle and that explosiveness. And he's not really an efficient fighter. And that's what we learned in the Edson Barboza fight. And when it comes to Diego Lopez, I mean, Diego Lopez is flying under a lot of people's radar. A lot of people's radar. If you actually look at what he can do, he's a dangerous kid. He's a dangerous kid. He still
Question
needs
before we go on. What's up with his weight difference? That site error, or is this something I'm missing here?
So I believe the UFC will post what they weighed in last at.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's what it is. The fight's at featherweight, so I'm assuming Diego must have fought up at a catchweight or something in his last fight. And maybe that's why. But he's coming off a big win against, unfortunately, a guy from the city, Pat Sabatini.
I remember that.
Yeah, put him away in the first round, I believe. But yeah, and then right before that, he submitted a fighter, Gavin Tucker, I believe his name is Gavin Tucker. Mm-hmm. So Diego Lopez is one of those old school, young, athletic Brazilian kids that's just in the same vein of like a Charles Oliveira. He wants to go in there and get it done and get it finished. Yusuf wants to go in there and get it finished. the pick for this fight is it is not going to decision. Okay.
Right.
It's not going to decision. Neither one of these guys want to take a step back. Neither one of these guys are big when it comes to shooting. If you could bring up their grappling paperwork right now. Yeah, as you can see right now.
Yeah, don't take this. Yeah.
Diego Lopez hasn't shot a takedown in the UFC once. And Yusuf shot, I think, 1 or 2 in the UFC. So, yeah. yeah. They are both coming here to do one thing, and that's stop the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. I'm 50% KO rate for Yusuf. And when you looking at Diego Lopez, 52% of his fights end by submission, the other 39 end by knockout. We're talking about somebody that's riding a line of 100% finish rate almost. Like, he's coming to get it done. And they're both knocking guys down like once every 4 rounds. So I think these guys are coming to get it in. I don't think the fight goes to decision. If I have to edge it to someone, I'm going to edge it to Diego just because of the size. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. I think the size is there. I could say that, Diego has a better ground game, but he's not going to try to take you down and submit you. So his ground game is really irrelevant. It's going to be who's going to be the better striker, who's going to have the better defense. I think Yusuf, from what I saw lacked a little bit more defense, especially against a taller guy with Edson Barboza. Yeah, he jumped on him early, but when he didn't get the KO, a lot of his deficiency shows.
Right.
Deficiencies that if Diego Lopez is hitting you, it's going to be a problem. But then again, Yusuf can punch. So again, I would edge it to Diego Lopez. But if we're talking about betting, this fight ain't making it all 3 rounds. This is going to be one of those early prelims where it's going to be, you want to make sure you watching the card at this point. Right. This when the beers start flowing and the smoke start rising.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next fight?
Next fight, Holly Holm versus
Kayla Harrison. So Kayla Harrison, for people who do not know, 2-time Olympic judo champion, and worlds also 2-time. No, she fought in the PFL, I believe. I believe she fought in PFL. Just want to make sure that was the actual promotion. Yeah, she fought in PFL. She's 16-1. Holly does not do well against grapplers. Kayla Harrison is a 2-time judo world champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. And unlike Ronda Rousey, she's had the time to develop her judo into a well-rounded grappling game for MMA.
Yeah.
For people who was thinking this is going to be Holly Holmes, like, she going to do her like how she did Ronda, very different. Ronda was a highly touted judoka. She was also a bronze medalist to Kayla's 2 golds. Kayla is a natural 140. She fought at 145.
Right.
You feel me? Like, Ronda wasn't a big 135er as a woman. Like, she was a decent size for 135. But if you compare her to like the Amanda Nunez's and stuff like that, she ain't that big. And we saw that when she was in front of Amanda. When we saw her in front of Holly Holmes, she ain't that big. You feel me? I'm not saying she's a little girl for 35, but she ain't Kayla Harrison. And I know you guys can't see the stats on, but I'll give you a little bit of what Kayla Harrison brings to the table in terms of stat wise. She's 5'8". She has 1 loss, which is 2 fights ago by unanimous decision in a 5-round fight. It's a 3-round fight. That was her only loss, so obviously it's easy to say like, oh, she's never lost a 3-round fight. Well, she's only lost 1 5-round fight. The only 5 rounds she's been in. outside of when she won the title. And then if I can, super high knockouts, a lot of it from ground and pound, and a lot of submissions. I don't see how Holly Holm is going to defend any of this. And I'm sure they don't have the odds up if they don't have Kayla Harrison's information on the website, which is weird because we're recording this on Monday and the fight's on Saturday. So I don't know how you don't have her information on your site, but hey, man, do you. Do you. It is weird, right? But Kayla Harrison by stoppage. Holly's not making it to the bell. And I think Holly's going to retire.
Damn.
Look, she had a great career.
Yeah, she had a great one.
Great career. And she was cheated out of being a 2-weight world champion when she fought Jermaine Durandamy and they let her keep hitting her after the bell. You're supposed to disqualify that other girl, especially when Holly was winning that fight. So we just going to keep it G. And Kayla's stopping Holly's last hurrah. She's leaving her gloves in the cage or retiring in the back. Don't, as Al says, don't retire on a loss on the prelims. That's crazy, but
yeah, don't retire on loss in the prelims. That is crazy.
I remember you got on the chick with the Roxanne Modafferi, which she did.
Yeah,
like who retires
on
a prelim on a loss? Like you're supposed to like at least wait till you get home, write a caption or something.
Yeah, it's like I'm leaving. I'm hanging.
It's like the venue isn't even full yet.
It's not.
All the staff isn't even there yet. So, this is an easy one. We just go ahead. This is Kayla Harrison by stoppage. When the lines come out, I assume, I'm going to be honest, I'll be surprised if it's not minus 600 or worse.
Damn.
Yeah, it won't be close.
All right, we got Calvin Kattar. Is it Cater or Qatar?
Qatar.
Okay, just make sure.
Calvin Kattar versus the former...
your boy, your favorite fighter, Aljamain Sterling.
My boy, Aljo, Backpack Sterling. I hate the name of Funkmaster. I hate it. I don't know. I hate that name. I mean, I would rather just call yourself something else. Something else. Calvin Kattar, good, well-rounded fighter. I think he's one of the better guys in that 145 division that you can call a gatekeeper. The thing that's hard to say is this is Aljo's first fight at 145. For us to assume that he's going to come in here and just be able to replicate exactly what he did at 135, I don't care what, like, we see him grapple with Jamal Hill. Jamal's like, oh, he's as strong as a middleweight. And, like, people saying, like, yeah, I get that you're strong, but it is different when you got 145ers cracking you with those gloves, and Kattar can punch. We kind of look at the grappling. Is Kattar a over 70 in terms of his takedown defense? I'm not sure, but I feel like he is, though. I feel like he is
91.
I think because when I was scouting takedown defense, I think he was in that upper like 5 percentile. Like he's a top guy when it comes to takedown defense, and I think he's the best guy when it comes to takedown defense in the weight class. Aljo, it's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a hard fight. Aljo, let's make this clear. Aljo can't stand with Calvin Kattar. Unless this is one of those fights where, because you know how it goes, is like you see a striker versus grappler, and you're like, oh, he can't stand, and Aljamain Sterling throws an overhand right, clips him, puts him out, and then everyone's in the comment section be like, oh, you know what the fuck you talk about. Outside of a puncher's chance, which everyone has, he cannot stand with Calvin Kattar. He will get hurt badly. I got to go with Calvin Kattar by decision. We haven't seen Aljo at this weight class, and he's going against one of the guys that did best takedown defense. And again, takedown defense is the most impactful stat when it comes to MMA, and Calvin Kattar is the top of the pack in the featherweight division. Now, Can Calvin stop Aljo from getting in on a leg and just holding him against the cage and just doing that? Like, can he stop Aljo from doing more of an Aaron Blanchfield? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. But what I will say is that if you gotta ask me to put my house on somebody, I'm putting it on Calvin Kattar in this matchup.
Yeah.
Next week.
I don't hate.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
hate.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You were quiet. I thought you didn't have nothing to say on these guys.
Oh. I mean, it's gonna be on paper wise, Calvin Kattar should actually win this fight. I know every time I say Aljo's gonna win, something happens. I mean, Aljo's gonna lose. Something happens and he wins.
Yeah, Kattar might go in there and roll his ankle.
Yeah.
You saw what happened to
dislocate his
what
shoulder.
happened Brian Ortega. I still don't know how Brian Ortega won that fight against Yair, where he's like warming up. He twists his ankle just bouncing and warming up in the cage. It's like, bro, you would talk about bad luck. It's like, not only do you get an injury, the dude sees what leg? What leg? I'd have been kicking him in his knee and ankle all day.
Other than the Yan fight.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. Because they call me a hater.
All his opponents had something going on.
During
you could also say like the Cejudo fight, but that was like the first sign that Henry was old as shit. That was like the first time.
Yeah, and a decent amount of people don't think Aljo won that fight, too.
Yeah.
I was on record saying Aljo didn't win that fight. I stand on it, but watching it back, because I was doing a scouting report, I still think Henry won that fight, but I could see in areas where people might have it for Aljo. The problem with Henry was he just let it be too messy, and that conditioning just wasn't there. He got old. Like, if you look at the pace he fought Mighty Mouse at, that pace was ungodly, bro. And it's like he has not been able to replicate that pace since he came out of retirement to fight Aljo.
Yeah, I think if he fought Mighty Mouse right now, I don't think he will win.
Oh, no, he's going to get cooked, barbecued, easy money. Yeah, that's a layup. That's a layup. I rock with Henry. I consider Henry the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. Olympic world champion, UFC 2 division champ. Like, what more can you want in a career? Like, there's nothing more he can do. And now he's stepped into a coaching role where he's had guys in his camp like John Jones and all those like Arizona natives. So, I mean, man, what more can you ask a guy to do except stay retired?
Yeah. All right, we can move on.
Your boy Yuri Prochazka versus Rakic. I'm sorry if we're butchering his name. I believe it's Rakic, Alexander Rakic. Rakic is an interesting one for me for a couple different reasons. I feel like when I look at a lot of Rakic's skill set, I feel like he shouldn't lose any fight in terms of his skill set. And then he goes and loses fights. Not a great takedown guy, great takedown defense, but not like a great takedown guy. In terms of his strikes, I think he's pretty much known for his low kicks, which are really devastating. Funnily enough, when he fought Jan Blachowicz, who, if anyone knows me, I'm super high on. He's easily, when he's on, a top 5 striker in the UFC. He put it on Rakic, so I don't know. When it comes to Yuri, you're as familiar as I am, where I feel like Yuri should lose every fight he's in. And that's why this fight is weird. I feel like I always say he's going to win a fight, and then I feel like Yuri's always going to lose a fight, and then the opposite happens. Or, not saying that Rakic has lost a bunch. Obviously, he has, and he's 14-3. But I feel like he should blow through a guy, and it's like more of a struggle, or he just can't get a guy out of there. Like Rakic is weird. It feels like he's on the edge of being like an extremely elite, scary fighter. But for some reason, like he has the ingredients, but the recipe just isn't figured out yet. And Yuri
Right.
Prohashka, I mean, you could talk on Yuri. That's your boy. He won you so much money.
You said he lost me so much, right? Yeah, he lost me money. That wasn't his fault, though. That was Glover Teixeira's fault for being old and a bum.
Not an old bum.
And you want to be like, oh, that's Glover Teixeira. He had a good career, but yeah, he tapped within like 20 seconds of retaining his title. That's a bum move to make. To a no hook choke. I'm not even gonna go over it.
You
But
know they're
yeah,
gonna
I
be in
think
the
Yuri should
comments
lose
being
every
like,
fight.
"You don't know jujitsu," and it's like, people don't know Al's an expert at the bulldog choke.
Yeah, I was just saying. I do jujitsu. I know what it's like to get choked when somebody has no hook. You know what you do is you get choked when somebody has no hooks. You sink down into the choke. But you know, even anybody say you don't know jujitsu, homeboy said he tapped because he was tired.
That's true. He literally said that shit, and that was kind of bothersome to me to even admit something like that. Like,
Yeah, why would you even say? You rather said nothing.
yeah, it was weird. It was very weird. I didn't like that.
But anyway, yeah, I think Yuri should lose every fight he's in.
And nothing changes in this fight.
Yeah, nothing changes for this fight. I mean, like he lost. I knew he was going to lose to Pereira because Yuri takes shots, that he shouldn't be taking.
You don't want to
And
take
he's
that
like a
from
little bit
Pereira.
sloppy defensive wise, and you do that against Pereira, you're getting knocked out.
Which is funny because that was a fight I thought Yuri had a good chance because Pereira has a bad habit of leaning back away from right hands and trying to get that left hook off. And he'll eat a lot of right hands. Obviously, if he gets the left hook off, though, he can end the fight, which is exactly what happened. But
Right.
yeah, Yuri was actually landing those shots. It was just the leg kicks. The leg kicks just tore Yuri's base up, so he had to just start being goofier than he already is, and he ran into something. I think in that fight, I saw that Yuri's Prohashka's fighting style is very based off his confidence. And you see that a lot with guys like him, like an instinctual fighter. He's very instinctual, and the second he start getting his legs beat, and when Pereira didn't go away with those right hands he was landing, I really felt like, oh, that's gone. Like that whole aura Yuri brings in of like this wild psycho, it's gone. It's like it was like when a killer meets a real killer.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I'm not like a Yuri hater, but that's kind of what angers me when people who I consider to be like a higher caliber fighter ends up losing to him. Like essentially, you're getting punked out of a fight.
I mean, you combine that with his athletic profile. I mean, the kid moves wild. He has power and everything. He's really fast for his size too,
and awkward too. So like, I get all of that, but it's like if you just hold down, it just seems I'm more angry at the people that lose to him than him because he's just winning. Well, I'm going to hate him. He's just winning,
and he fights like, bigger than what he is. Like he's only listed as 6'3", but I feel like he's bigger than every person he fights. Like even though I believe Pereira is 6'4" and is taller than him, and Pereira is huge.
Yeah, he is.
Yuri Prohashka was just like, oh man, that's a big fucking dude. Like he's a big dude and he's fast. And if he gets you hurt, he's going to stay on you. And he's gritty and he's tough and he's all those things. But when an instinctual fighter gets pushed to an area where you have to be tactical, they normally lose. And I think Ratchik's game, which is, again, a little slower, a little bit more methodical, and he's a great leg kicker. I think those are going to be the things that take Yuri off of his square, and I can see Rakic winning a decision. I think Rakic can win that decision.
Yeah, I can see it. I feel like
say Yuri's going to win. Go ahead, betray yourself.
I feel like it might be a Yuri dub, honestly.
What are the odds saying? What's the public saying?
Yeah. It's
I'm
actually
very
leaning towards
surprised.
Ratchet
Yeah,
slightly.
I would imagine. But essentially, it's a pick'em fight.
Yeah. I say pick 'em. I personally wouldn't bet on this fight because I feel like it in a nutty way. Whenever Yuri's involved, I feel the same way about the Sterling fight too. It could just end in a nutty way. Like we had all last card ended in ridiculous ways.
Oh, that's the
Uh,
prelims. Guess we're moving
now
on
to
to
the
the main
main
card.
card,
Bo
and we
Nickel
start
versus
off.
Cody Bundridge.
And you know what the
Um,
public says. You know what the public says. Let's see. What you think?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
That's you getting your
They feeding him.
who Bo Nickel?
Cody Bundridge, I'm sorry, but you food, baby. And they putting you as
Yeah.
food on the biggest stage. Now, can you play the role of spoiler? Let's go to those grappling stats real quick. Again, stats don't run the fight, but there is one extremely impactful stat, and that is the takedown defense, right? Takedown
Yeah.
defense. He is a 70 guy. You're going to need to be a 90 guy to be in there with Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel is probably one of the more interesting prospects. I have him as a top 3 prospect in the UFC middleweight division simply because of his approach to the fight. It has very little to do with his skill set. If you listen to the kid, you watch him train, you look at him, just look at a lot of his old wrestling film, you see a lot of the traits that a champion is made out of. That work ethic, the dedication to the fundamentals and development, the mental push and fortitude, multi-time national champion in D1. I mean, and again, a lot of those titles don't mean shit when you come to MMA, but in terms of mentality, I think the mentality and the approach to how he's fighting, you talk about a guy with 5 fights who's opening up the biggest UFC card of all time. Everyone sees something. Now, do I think right now Bo Nickel can go in there with like a Robert Whitaker or a Paulo Costa in a 5-round fight and win? Absolutely not. I still think he needs a lot of development to go to make. But I think he knows that as well.
Right.
And yeah, they should be feeding him. I think Cody is a good a good meal because
Right.
he's got the fight experience. He got 3 times more fights than you. He's relative to your size, so you can't say you fought an undersized guy, even though he has a short reach. You're gonna be able to get to him early. I'm talking about that 7'6" or 7'2" reach. Bo's a little taller, but when you have the height and reach advantage, that combination just really hurts the guy on the other side if he doesn't have a speed advantage. Cody Bundridge is not a freak athlete at all, not on the same level as Bo Nickel. I know Bo Nickel doesn't look super ripped up. I'm going to state it again, 2-time NCAA national champion. You feel me? Kind of
Yeah, I
got to
feel
be
you.
a superb athlete to do something like that. So I don't think that the skill set is there for Cody to keep Bo off of him. I don't think that he has the athleticism to make it an instinctual fight. I think Bo Nickel's approach is going to be very direct and methodical. I think Bo Nickel probably stops him in the first round. Yeah, I don't think it comes out the second. I think it's probably a first round stoppage.
Yeah. I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree. But personally, if we're just talking about from bet standpoint, wouldn't even bet on it. Not worth it. Leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much goofy stuff can happen. One, Cody's probably not going to win, but if he does win, it's going to piss you off because you put that minus 1350 on your card.
Yeah,
Why even?
It's not worth it.
Just leave it alone.
It's not worth it at all. 1 second.
Enjoy the fight.
This. 1 second, we got to pause this. I'm going to edit it out. Hello? It's open.
Technical difficulties. Time to know what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to edit this. Edit it. Go down and take me up to heaven.
And it sounds like it's something wrong with them.
Go down. Hey, dude, are you gonna be on time today? I'm probably gonna be late. I'm still. Oh, hey, dang, you had to bang on me, bro. I know. Oh no. Are you gonna be on time today? 'Cause I'm probably gonna be late because I'm filming with Dev. All right. Okay, cool. Are you going to Echoes? Okay. All right. I'm more likely going to be late because we're still filming. All right. Okay. Go down, take me up to heaven. I wanna go into.
It's all good. Oh, you good?
We good to start, or gonna wait?
Maintenance is supposed to be here 3 hours ago.
Uh
And it ain't come in. I mean, luckily it was right when we stopped at a chunk, so it's gonna be easy to edit out.
Yeah.
He's about to come right back in. So where we leave off, we're going to the next fight, right?
Yeah. The next fight.
All right. We're not even gonna start it. I'm gonna wait for him to come back in and leave back out, just so I can get rid of the whole chunk.
All right, it's cool. I already told Twan that I was probably going to be late because we're still filming. So he's already in Center City, so we good.
Sounds good. You see that? You see that?
Yep. See what? Yeah.
Jamal Hill said he going to stand up with Alex Pereira and knock him out. I'm like, didn't that old man make your face like that?
Oh shit.
Ain't that what he did to your face? That old man?
Damn.
You gonna knock Alex Pereira out? You couldn't knock that old man out.
You gotta put him on glass. Yeah, Jamal Hill fight. It just seems like a random ass fight.
Yeah, he just fixing something in the bathroom. It's like, bro, you beat on an old man for 5 rounds and couldn't get him out of there. Like,
Damn.
oh shit. Oh shit. Well, I'm gonna send you something while he's doing that. This shit, wow. Like, I don't even know how to handle this shit. Oh, I just sent you something. This shit, wow, brother. This shit's crazy, brother.
Oh, is it arm wrestle? Somebody about to get their arm broken? Arm wrestle is fucking dumb. I can't watch that, bro. Oh my god. Oh, arm wrestling is so dumb. Arm wrestling is so dumb. I see so many people break they shit arm wrestling, man. I don't do it no more. Like someone's like arm wrestling, I'm like, nah, bro, you got it. It's cool. I don't want to break your shit, and I don't want to get my shit broken
Ow.
over some ego shit. You want to scrap, we can scrap, but those shit be clean fucking breaks, too. Oh my god.
That's funny. He said, this shit's so stupid.
I got a picture of the eclipse. The partial eclipse, at least. Little darling, here comes the sun. Do 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 do. Comes the sun. I say it's alright.
His name Billy. My man J. Cole out here apologizing.
Huh?
I said, J. Cole out here apologizing. I never thought I'd see the day.
I don't know why he did that shit, bro.
Yeah, that's all we had to wait. The motor in our dryer is messed up. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that shit. I don't even care no more. I'm no longer
He
invested.
said you had people believing in you, bro. Niggas was trusting that you was going to be the one that slay the dragon.
Yeah. Oh well.
Drake was like, this beef not even mine. What was I even doing? I didn't even like this.
What do you mean Drake like that?
Huh?
That beef was totally his. It was his fault,
Who,
nigga.
J. Cole?
Oh wait. You said I thought you said
No, I'm
Drake
saying
said
J.
that.
Cole like this Drake beef. This ain't even got nothing to do with me. Why am I even
And
here? This ain't me, bro.
that's what I was saying.
He said, this ain't me,
That's
bro.
what I
I'm
was.
sorry, bro.
Well, I'm gonna look at some baseball shit.
Right quick.
Yeah, right quick while we wait for this nigga to fix your dryer. So he was supposed to be here 3 hours ago. He said I don't. He's like I missed the part where that's my problem. These niggas talking out they
Is
neck.
the motor? Oh. How does that happen?
Chicago White Sox.
I mean, we drying regular things. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
Dodgers.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. We'll be here. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, I'll go grab them today. Right. I'll get it from the corner store. Yeah. Thank you. Daylight white. Okay. Yeah. Daylight. Thank you. Have a good one.
I'm betting on your boys. Oh, is he done?
He said, "Oh, he talk about so." I missed the part when this was my problem.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to bring us back from the edit. Okay.
All right.
And you're going to be going to the next fight. 3, 2, edit, edit, edit. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties.
Yep.
Technical difficulties, solar eclipse, and all that. Next fight, another one of the fights I'm looking forward to. We got
Charles
the Bronx.
Oliveira.
The Bronx versus Armin Sarukian. Ooh, they disrespectful. They so
Yeah,
disrespectful.
is he a fuzzy hat user? Armin.
That's an
Does he have a fuzzy
inside
hat?
joke for people who are listening.
Yeah.
Al believes that fuzzy hats override all of your grappling. All of your grappling. You could be a jiu-jitsu world champion. Does the other guy got a fuzzy hat? and
I see it multiple
and the
times.
worst part was Marab dominating Henry Cejudo. Like I
Cejudo,
told you about that fuzzy hat.
a Olympic gold medalist.
Uh-huh.
That did not matter because he had a fuzzy hat.
Yeah, I might do the next pod with a fuzzy hat on. But Charles Oliveira finds himself as the underdog again.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll being honest, they're banking on the fact that Armin Sarukian is going to be able to catch Oliveira and finish him on the ground. I don't think anyone thinks that Armin Sarukian is going to dominate a 3-round fight. I'm just trying to figure out where exactly, like, how do they think this is going to go? Like, Charles Oliveira is probably top. I've been calling him top 3, but honestly, if you're talking about purely all around offensive skill set, who is more dangerous than Charles Oliveira? I mean, he has the most finishes in the UFC for a reason. Do you feel me?
Right.
Like, even Justin Gaethje said he couldn't believe how hard Charles Oliveira hit. So he felt like he had been hit with a bolt of lightning. Like his whole body felt like he'd been electrocuted with the first shot. Like I get Charles Oliveira. He's taken some losses that you just could not believe. I mean, even to a big degree, the Islam Makhachev loss, a lot of people didn't believe it was going to happen the way it happened. Right. Charles is one of those guys, like when he shows up, he is one of the scariest guys to ever do it again. Offensively, he is the juggernaut of all juggernauts, and he can get you out of there any way he wants to, right? Submissions off his back. And he's one of the few guys that off his back, he's actually just as dangerous if he was on top of you. He's one of the guys that breaks that mold. The problem is that Charles Oliveira is too willing to fight, doesn't always come in with a great game plan, or if he does, he abandons it very quickly and will just decide to march forward. All that being said, Armin Sarukian, I think he might get. I think this goes essentially exactly how the Beneil Dariush fight went. I think like people are underestimating Charles Oliveira. Charles might get touched with something, but I don't think Sarukian is going to have what it takes to knock Charles out. And I don't think Sarukian can take what Oliveira is going to send his way. I don't think Sarukian is going to be able to dominate Charles in the grappling like how some people think is going to happen. But again, he's from Georgia. He might have a fuzzy hat in his closet like Marab. So like I get it. I'm not betting against Charles Oliveira against a guy that's not proven. It's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Like I don't see how you can look at a guy like that who, again, not saying that he can't fight. He has not fought the guys that Charles Oliveira has fought. I think Charles is, again, one of the most talented offensive fighters in UFC history, let alone in just the lightweight division. And if we look at like I think his biggest win to date was against Beneil Dariush by KO. And Charles Oliveira did the same thing in the first round. So, like, I don't get it. He's been out grappled before by guys like Gamrot. He's not dominant enough as a grappler like where Makhachev was. It's like, Makhachev might be able to enter his realm and dominate him. I don't see that happening at all. I see Charles Oliveira, honestly, this is going to be a bold pick, but this is my pick of the whole night. I think Charles Oliveira puts belt to ass and stops Sarukian in 2 rounds, if that. I think Sarukian ain't making it out the first. Unless Sarukian goes out there and he's diving on Charles's leg, or he can hurt Charles in the first round and Charles has to fight back. I don't think he's going to get out there and just stop Charles unless he just clips him from the get-go, which we all know is going to happen. It's Charles Oliveira. He has to get clipped. I don't know what it is. Yeah. He has to get clipped by every single person he fights. But if he clips you back, you're not getting out of there. You're not getting out of there. He's the best guy when it comes to getting guys the hell up out of there. And I think he's going to get Arman Sarukian straight up out of there. I think he stops him in 2 rounds.
I want that to happen. I just think he's going to come out exactly how Islam came out.
You mean exactly how he came out against Islam?
Yeah.
Don't jinx it like that. Don't do that.
I don't want it to happen.
That hurts my feelings. I got Charles stopping him. I'm putting that.
I want that. I want that to happen.
I'm putting that on my ticket. You can follow Coach Al for his, and he might convince me not to put that on the one we put on our combat squad.
We gonna live bet this one. If Arman walks out with a fuzzy hat, I'm putting everything on him. I'm sorry. I love Charles. I love him to death. All I want to do is to see him win, but can't beat the fuzzy hat. I'm sorry, gang.
I get it. I don't want to, but I do. Trust me, I don't want to at all. I resent you for it.
All right, we're getting towards the end.
Ooh.
Justin Gaethje
for the versus baddest Max motherfucker alive.
We talked about this multiple times, and you already know how I feel about it. I think this is a mistake for Max to fight. This could possibly be a career-ending fight for Max.
Oh, shit.
Possible career-ending.
Look, I'm going to keep it straight. I'm the biggest Max Holloway fan. I was Max Holloway fan all the way back in the day. Like, when he was fighting Dustin Poirier the first time, Charlie Brennan, all those guys he fought back then. Like, when he was 3-3 in the UFC at like 20 years old, like, or 21, I fuck with Max Holloway. I really do. I think he is an argument for the greatest featherweight of all time. I still got to edge it to Volkanovski, but if someone is like, hey, look at Max's full resume and what he did and how long he's been doing it, I can understand. He's number 2, maybe number 3, but he's in that top 3 of his division's history. I saw Max come up. Now, it's going to be a lot of caveats to it. The last time when he came up to fight Dustin Poirier at 55, which is the only time we've seen him at 55, it was a short notice fight. It was a short notice fight. when he fought Dustin Poirier, I was sure Max was going to win that fight. And Dustin Poirier's power at 55 gave Max Holloway a lot of issues. Everyone who's fought Justin Gaethje says he's the hardest they've ever been hit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that fought Justin Gaethje also fought Dustin Poirier. So, I'm not sure how Max is going to respond to it. Max looks to be bigger, and having some more of that weight on your body is going to allow you to absorb a shot a little bit better. I think the biggest problem is actually going to be the low kicks. Max notoriously hates leg kickers, right? Hates
Right.
low kickers. I think I have to give it to Gaethje for the history in the division. The power is for real. His ability to low kick is for real. His chin is for real. I think another big part of it that people aren't talking about is Justin Gaethje is an amazing wrestler. And if
Yeah.
he decides to whip that out against Max Holloway got taken down a few times, and that's ultimately we sealed the fight against Dustin Poirier his last trip to 155. Dustin Poirier is not the wrestler Justin Gaethje is. I think
Yeah.
that Gaethje just has too many different ways to win the fight. Do I think he's going to get a horrific KO because Max leaves his hands low and Gaethje's going to land the overhand right, and it's going to be exactly how Al thinks it is? No, I don't think it's
That's
going.
not how I think it
How
is.
do you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to feel a lot like the Tony Ferguson fight.
Oh,
I feel like Max will
when
be.
you mean by career ender, you mean like he'll survive it, but he gonna take too much damage?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Okay, all right. When you say career ending, I thought you talk about some he gonna break his jaw
Oh no,
all up.
that was the end of Tony Ferguson's career.
I mean, yeah, effectively, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's what I mean. I don't mean like he's gonna like sleep him and then like he's gonna retire. He's not going to fight.
I
Like no,
mean,
I
that
think
being said, Max Holloway's
yeah,
defense is much better than
it is.
Gaethje's,
I
but also Max Holloway, I believe, has absorbed the most significant strikes in UFC history per the amount of time he's been in there. So,
yeah,
do you want Justin Gaethje to touch you 6 times per minute? I don't think so. I don't think that you want him to touch you 3 times per minute, even if it's just the low kicks. I think Max has passed to win the fight. Gaethje lunges in against taller guys. We saw it against Charles Oliveira. And when it comes to just the stand-up aspect, a lot of what Charles Oliveira did against Gaethje, I think Max Holloway can do the same thing. I think Max's power is also going to surprise a lot of people. That being said, Gaethje's been in there with Eddie Alvarez, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier. We talk about guys that can crack at 155, you know?
yeah,
Max wasn't cracking like that at 145. He'll beat you up, but he's a beat up. He's a stop through accumulation. He's never been like a one punch knockout guy. I don't see him going up to 155 and knocking out the
insert.
guy that has probably the best chin at 55.
Yeah,
I don't see it happening. I think Gaethje wins a decision. I don't think Gaethje's going to get him out of there. I think he's going to beat Max up, though. I think he's
yeah,
going to beat Max up. I think Max can win the fight. Again, a lot of the holes we've seen in previous fight with Gaethje, Max is primed to take advantage of. But a lot of the holes we've seen with Max, Gaethje is primed to take advantage of. And when you start talking about the ability to do damage, especially where Max is not going to have the height advantage that he has in most fights, I don't see it. I don't see it. I see Gaethje lighting those legs up, potentially taking him down, controlling the fight, being smart, and then calling for that title shot. Because I mean, as much as Poirier wants it, you did just get slept by Gaethje. So
yeah,
I think that's it. Especially with how Gaethje and Khabib left off, it's like I think Makhachev's last thing to be like, okay, he's Khabib's official successor. He has to be Justin Gaethje for him to do that. So I think that's the path. I think that's how the stars are aligning. I got Justin Gaethje, pains me to say it, by decision against Max Holloway. Don't think he'll stop him, but if Max wins, and I don't even want Gaethje. I hate that they fighting each other, man.
Yeah, I don't
I
like
don't
this
like
fight.
this. I don't like this at all. Stop this, man. Next fight. I don't want to talk about this no more.
All right. Zhang Wei Li versus
Yan Zanan. Yan and Zhang Wei Li. This is gonna be short because they have very similar skill sets. Both of them are very much like Sando fighters, very quick kickboxing, and they know how to score points without getting touched. Both have a lot of power. Both have well-rounded games, though Wei Li is a better grappler. I think Zhang is a very good fighter, extremely athletic, really good when in terms of putting her shots together. I think a lot of what she brings to the table, Wei Li is better at, and Wei Li is more well-rounded. I think the athleticism isn't going to be. If you've seen Wei Li fight, you know she is athletically a freak. So
yeah.
I think her athleticism is going to be countered. So that speed that Jean normally has isn't going to be there. I think her power, she's going to have a hard time finding it. I think she's going to have to be fighting off takedowns throughout this fight. And if she gets taken down, we don't know how her cardio is going to look over 5 rounds against Wei Li. I have Wei Li winning by decision. I don't know if she can stop Yan without overextending herself. If she presses for a finish in a bad position, and I don't think Yan's ground game is bad enough to where Wei Li will just go out there and submit her like how she did Carla Esparza. That being said, she did just go out and maul Carla Esparza grappling, who also put a pace and a grappling display on against Yan Janan. So I kind of got to go with Wei Li by decision. I want to say by stoppage because it's 5 rounds, but I think Yan hasn't taken a whole bunch of damage in her career. I think she's savvy enough to survive Wei Li's sub attempts, but Wei Li is a fighter that gets a lot better in between camps, so you never know. Never know. But yeah, that one's gonna be quick and short.
Yeah. I'm rooting for my girl Wei Li. Fuck with her.
It's weird how she's become like a fan favorite, and the surprise headline that nobody asked for.
Yep, they just really needed someone to fill, and everyone fell through. Conor fell through. John Jones fell through.
John Jones is out here threatening if you ask for that P.
testers. Conor's just not doing USADA testing.
He's twitching.
So much so that he's
twitching on camera. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's twitchy.
And Izzy Duplessis didn't want to fight Izzy.
Perky McGregor is crazy.
Perk McGregor. That's McGregor. Cocaine Connor.
Cocaine Connor, Perk McGregor, McPerkson. Like, man, Connor is just, man, you talking about seeing a rise and a fall. It's hard to watch. He was essentially our Floyd, not in terms of record, but in terms of like that meteoric rise where it's like, oh, who's this Connor dude? And then next thing you know is like, oh, he's winning. And like, it's one of those moments where, you know, young kids said you had to be there. You had to be there to like watch it live.
Yeah.
Like a lot of newer fans are kind of like seeing the highlights of Connor, but they don't really know. But we're not talking about Connor. We're talking about these two fine gentlemen standing at top.
Would he be more appropriate to be, say, a Mike Tyson?
We gonna save that for another interview.
Okay.
For an interview we got
enough.
planned. We ain't gonna say who it is, but we have an interview planned. And you know what? That's a very good comparison. A very, very good comparison. I think we talk about him like Floyd because of the bravado and the flash and the shit talking. Like Mike he showed up in black ball shorts. He's ready to rumble. Like he did shit.
Yeah.
It was no chains. It was honestly that's some scary shit. Like a dude walking towards you and he in like gym like PE clothes.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
he did not come out here for advertisement. There are no ads on the side of his shorts, bro. Those is black swimming trucks. He'll come out there and maul you and then leave, and that's it. But
Go do a bunch of cocaine.
yeah, we got Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. This is one of the rare fights with Jamal Hill is actually the more experienced fighter. If he decides to be the more experienced fighter, and this is where I'm going to step on to his approach against Pereira and everyone's approach against Pereira. You look at 9-2 and like, oh, he's only got 11 fights. He only has 11 fights in MMA.
Yeah, keep that in
Meaning,
mind.
if you make it an MMA fight, he's only got 11 fights.
Mm-hmm.
If you turn it into a kickboxing fight, now his record is very different. If you make it a
Very
kickboxing
large.
fight, his record is very different. And if you actually look at his career, like 5 of his fights in MMA have been kickboxing fights. So when I look at Alex Pereira, I'm like, he has 11 fights. Like 5 of them, for real, has been kickboxing matches. 2 of them, he just got guys out of there and knocked them out so quick that it wasn't a match. I'm looking at a dude where I'm like, 7 of his fights ain't even MMA fights. 7 out of his 11 fights don't even count as full-on MMA fights to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
And like, I get like, oh, but people shot takedowns on him. You had strikers shooting takedowns after they got the shit socked out of them.
Yeah, that's a
that ain't the same.
desperation shot.
Yeah, that ain't the same. Like, we didn't see him facing like a Marvin Vittori or a Derek Brunson. And let's make this clear. I think he beats those guys. I think he beats those guys. I think he beats Robert Whitaker. You feel me? I think that 6'4", and I don't know why I say 204 pounds because he walk around at like he has to. Dude, I'm big. I was big, but this dude is like he's walking around like. I know people joke, but he looks like a fucking heavyweight when he's not fighting, bro.
Yeah, he does. He looks huge.
Like when you see him stand next to guys like Jan Blachowicz, and people was like, yeah, like Jan's this big dude at 205, and he looks like a child next to Pereira. And look, Jamal Hill's not small either. But Jamal, I'm not dumb enough to think that it's impossible that you've put the notion that you're going to knock out Pereira standing up as a ploy to make him think that, and then you're going to come out there and use a full arsenal of, your skill set, including grappling to a degree. Here's my problem. Go to Jamal Hill's grappling stats, please, just so the people who are watching can see this, and I want them to look at this real closely. I want you to, what's his takedown average?
0.
What's his takedown accuracy?
0.
And what is Pereira's takedown accuracy?
100.
What's Pereira's takedown defense?
70.
So when we're looking, again, on paper, when it comes to grappling, Jamal Hill doesn't have the advantage. On paper, we haven't seen them grapple enough to think that it can go one way or another. And what Jamal Hill is saying is that it's going to be a kickboxing match. He's going to knock him out. Jamal Hill, I'm sure, has looked at the tape, noticed that if you can press Pereira backwards, and if you can show him a lot of feints, he will stand there, go into like his forearm guard. He will allow that right hand to kind of sneak through and touch him. And I get where Jamal Hill's like this guy. Everyone's acting like he's untouchable and he's this guy that's striking when he's not. Like he gets hit a lot and I can knock him out. Problem is that's what everybody thinks until they wake up with the flashlight in their face. Everyone thinks that till they have a flashlight in their face. And my biggest problem with Jamal Hill is him not acknowledging. Now, again, what we see in the media and then what is actually going to be executed at the fight are very different. Excuse me. Ooh. Know what's going on. Jamal Hill putting that spice on me since I'm talking about him. But if we're being honest, the odds are probably leaning towards Pereira for a reason. Right? And I don't know if Pereira is going to be the person where you're going to whip out this brand new like ground game and ability to take him down that we haven't seen from you, and you're going to whip it out on him. You feel me? I don't think it's going to happen. And Jamal Hill, like, I get that you can punch, but you beat up on Glover and couldn't get him out of there. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like, no, I think, and I like Jamal Hill. I think he's hilarious. I think he has an underrated skill set. We're doing a scouting report on him. That'll be on the Patreon tomorrow. We're recording this Monday, so it'll be there Tuesday. Sleep. Don't know what to tell you. Sleep.
Yeah, I don't see a path to victory for him other than
knocking him out.
Puncher's chance that everyone has. But I'll put my money on Pereira.
What's the odds for that fight?
They're actually pretty even. 130, 155.
Oh, this parlay gonna be easy. This has been Combat Squad Fight Sports Podcast previewing UFC 300. Please look out on the Patreon for all our scouting reports, detailed breakdowns, because this is honestly, again, I like Jamal Hill, I really do, but again, if you think that you're gonna just freeze him, you're gonna land that right hand and get him out of there, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
I get that you're a lot more explosive than people give you credit for. I know that you're a lot more measured and accurate than people give you credit for. I get all that, Jamal. I get that you feel like you've been very underrated. Don't make the mistake of underrating Pereira, because I think one of Pereira's gifts is that people always think they're going to go in there and just do what they want to do to him. And they find out that boy punched different and the timing on it is different and it's coming from a different angle, and spots that you didn't think he'd be able to generate leverage, he can knock cows out. So, yeah. Not saying it's a mismatch, but it could look like that if Jamal Hill doesn't show up with a game plan that we are all going to be shocked by. Mm-hmm. Bye.
Peace. Peace to the planet.
He said peace to the planet.